family, Luca and Nicola, servants. Okay, the Luca is the female servant and Nicola is the male servant. We are talking about the family of Petkoffs. There are three people in the family of Petkoffs. That is Major Petkoff, Catherine, and Raina, daughter of Petkoffs. Okay, then there are two more characters who are outsiders. One is Sergius. Sergius is actually an army personnel who's in army, recruited in the army, and he is head of the charge of the army, which charge is mentioned here in the play. Sergius, and he is actually engaged to Raina. This is Raina's fiancé. And the last character, and which I think is the most important and one of the spokespersons of George Bernard Shaw, is Bluntschli. Bluntschli is a Serbian soldier. Actually, now this is a confusion that you have to realize. He is working in Serbian army, but by birth he is Swiss. He is working in Serbian army, but by birth he is Swiss. This is what we have to remember. Okay, this is the introduction to the characters. We have to understand Major Petkoff, Catherine, Raina, Luca, Nicola, Sergius, and Bluntschli. Bluntschli is the most important character. However, this can be called a love triangle also. Actually, not the love triangle, because these terms are not useful in Shaw's plays. Shaw looks at his plays and characters differently. It's not a traditional playwright. Therefore, we'll move on to the next slide. The play, if you look at the play, the settings of the play begins with, so if you can shift the slide to the next one, the play begins in the fall of 1885. Fall of 1885. This is the Serbo-Bulgarian War. Now, I think you have to look at the geography, you have to look at Serbia and Bulgaria, and the war fought in 1885 between Serbia and Bulgaria. Both the nations are adjacent to each other, European nations. And if you look at all the plays, you will see that English plays are not only about England, they are also about other countries. Say, for instance, they are about Denmark, they are about Serbia, they are about Bulgaria, they are about Hungary, they are about, again, where Shaw comes from, Ireland also. So this is where it is in there. Generally, the United Kingdom forms the part of the English plays. They are also from the other countries of Europe. That is what we have to remember. So the setting of this play is fall of 1885 during the Serbo-Bulgarian War. That is the only reference of the war. Rest of the things are the ideas created by Shaw on the background of the war. Okay, Raina is a Bulgarian woman. As I told you, Major Petkoff is in Bulgarian army. So Raina is a Bulgarian woman from a very wealthy family. And she is told, initially she is told by her mother, whose name is Catherine. Catherine tells Raina, mother tells the daughter, that Bulgarian cavalry have won a battle against the Serbs. This is the point where play begins, remember. Play begins with Catherine. Catherine is Raina's mother. Catherine telling Raina that Bulgarian army, cavalry in fact, has won a battle against the Serbs. This is actually a moment of pride for them. For winning battles is the moment of pride. Now, why are they telling this? They are telling this because Major Petkoff is also in Serbian army, and Raina's fiancé is also in army, and he is actually the head of the charge, which is reported to have won the battle against Serbs, and a battle against Serbs. Now, Catherine further tells Raina that Raina's fiancé, now who's Raina's fiancé? Sergius is Raina's fiancé. Sergius was at the head of the charge. Serbs have won the battle, and Sergius was the head of the charge, and he was as heroic as anybody in the picture. Now there is a picture of this Sergius in Raina's room. We see a picture of Sergius in Raina's room as she is engaged to him. Okay, and they speak about Sergius as a brave man. Okay, so what we get to know initially is Sergius, a brave man, and he has won an attack against the Serbs, and he is engaged to Raina. So these are the things. So Raina harbors a kind of romantic feeling for Sergius. Why? She harbors a kind of romantic feeling for Sergius because she thinks that he is a war hero. That is the point here we have to remember, that Sergius is a war. Okay. Now, it is informed because this is a play, right? In the play, you have less scenes and settings. We have to keep everything in our mind, and even a playwright has to keep everything in the mind while writing a play. It is not like a general story. Play has different settings, and different playwriting is a different art. Okay, so as we have discussed earlier, that they have a male servant, Luca. Luca, she enters just to inform Catherine and Raina. See, it is the same scene, but Luca enters and she informs Catherine and Raina. As she is the servant, it is her duty to inform about the things. And what she informs them, she tells them that Serbs in the sense Serbian soldiers, Serbs are fleeing the battlefield. Now, as Serbs are defeated, they are fleeing the battlefield, and there is a possibility that any of the Serbian soldier might be here in our area seeking refuge to protect himself from the Bulgarian army. And soldiers have warned all the people to be careful of such people, I mean those who are seeking refuge in the Bulgarian families. Now this is, they are informed. Now Raina is not worried. I mean, it is a possibility that some soldier may enter their room, enter their house and trouble them, intrude into it. But Raina is not worried about it. Instead of keeping her window closed, she prefers to keep it open. Okay, now this is actually a kind of setting so that a soldier may enter through the window. Okay, now this is what we are told. Now actual play begins here. Okay, now the whole of the things are told to us by the conversation between Catherine and Raina, and Luca, Catherine and Raina. Only three characters are introduced to us. Now the fourth character enters. The fourth character is Bluntschli. Now Bluntschli is the soldier who's referred to now. They are speaking about the soldiers who are fleeing. Okay, and this soldier is Bluntschli. In the night, now during the night time, a man enters the room in Raina's room. A man enters Raina's room through an unlocked window, as we have seen that Raina keeps a window unlocked. Through the unlocked window, and she threatens Raina to kill her. She tells Raina, if you talk, if you make noise, I'll shoot you, I'll kill her. Okay. The man is Swiss, and by the conversation between Raina and the soldier, Swiss, we understand that he is a Swiss in the sense, as I told you, he is a Serbian soldier. By birth, he is Swiss, but he is recruited in Serbian army, and he is there. He has escaped the battle, and he is here to seek refuge, to seek shelter in their house. He is a fighting mercenary for Serbians. It has been told to us. Getting the point, I suppose. Now, when Raina hears about this, she is shocked to see that man is tired, hungry. See, if you look at the man, now some soldier running from the battlefield. I think the slide needs to be changed. If a man is running from the battlefield, we can see that he's running from the battlefield. What would his condition be? Raina is shocked. Next one. Raina is shocked to see that man is tired. Yeah, next one, sir. Next one. Raina is shocked to see when the man enters. Yeah, this one. When the man enters, she's shocked to see that man is tired, hungry, and moreover, when he speaks, he seems not to be glorifying the war. I mean, any soldier who's taking on the fleet would not glorify the war. That is, I mean, quite obvious thing. But if you look at this soldier, he does not glorify the war. And he is very happy. By the conversation between Raina and the soldier, we realize that the soldier is very happy to have escaped from the Bulgarian soldiers, that he is going to live for certain days. In other instances, what we would have seen, an escaped soldier would be feeling remorse of his fleeting. He will be saying that, why have I run away? It like that. But this is a totally pragmatic man who doesn't speak of ideas, but speak pragmatically of the things that I am happy that I have escaped the Bulgarian soldiers and I can live for some more days. And he is threatening her first, but then he tells her that I am a soldier and I want to leave. Raina, now soldiers come, they knock the door. Raina hides him behind the curtain of the window. Huh? And Luca, Raina helps him hide behind the curtains, just as Catherine, Luca, and Bulgarian officer enter. Now three enter, Catherine, Luca, and Bulgarian officer, just to check in whether this Serbian soldier has entered the room. And they tell that it is possible that a Serbian soldier may be hiding. We have seen him climb the balcony, and they try to search for him. Raina tells them that there is no such soldier. Of course, she has hidden him there, but she tells him that there is no such soldier in a room, and you can go away. She also opens the door of balcony and lets them see that there is nothing in the balcony. Satisfied, those people go away. Raina, then the man comes out. His pistol is there. He has thrown his pistol. Then he tells her that he is extremely tired. He has eaten nothing for days and he has not slept for days together. So, and the pistol is there. Looking at the pistol, she says that you threatened me to death. He says, don't worry, it's empty. There is nothing in it. It's not loaded. I don't even carry cartridges in my pocket. Then what do you carry in your pocket? The soldier tells that I carry chocolates in my pocket. Now see, this is a point where we have to realize what Shaw is trying to tell us. He is a mercenary. Soldier is a mercenary, an appointed soldier. He is working as a soldier. He is not soldier by blood. It is the thing. But he has been recruited into this. He has entered these services because of certain reasons. What Shaw tries to tell us is it is just like any other duty. Being soldier is just like being something else. It is just a part of your duty. You choose a profession. That is like, it is similarly like that. Okay. So he tells him that I carry chocolate creams and he's tired and he says that if I get some chocolates right now, it will be very good for me because I'm deadly hungry. Raina offers him the chocolate creams because he says that he is hungry, and she also tells him that they are quite civilized people and they won't shoot at any soldier, or they won't want to kill any soldier that enters their house, being civilized. Then she's shocked to hear that the man has no ammunition for his pistol and he normally keeps candies in his pocket instead of keeping the ammunition in his pocket. Okay. Now they talk about the attack that Sergius won. Okay. The man argues that he tells her that there was a man called Sergius. He was in charge of the cavalry and he charged against the Serbs. It was an act of utter foolishness. What he tells is, to the disappointment of Raina, this soldier, Bluntschli, actually his name is Bluntschli, who is understood to be Bluntschli later on. He tells Raina that a man who led the attack over Serbs was a fool. But yet, he proved victorious. What is the reason? The reason was the Serbs, he tells her that Serbs had the machine guns. But the ammunition provided for the machine guns was wrong. If it wasn't wrong, if it was the right ammunition, it was only merely accident that Sergius won the war. Otherwise, those people, this attack was like a suicide. Those people might have been killed in front of the machine guns of Serbs. But accidentally, unfortunately, they were provided with wrong ammunition and the attack was won by Sergius. This is the information that the soldier gives to Raina, who great infatuation for a fiancé, Sergius, who was in charge of the attack. You understand how is this going on? Okay. Now, Raina tells this Serbian soldier that she is ready to help him, but now it is not possible for her to keep him in her house because he has spoken ill words about her fiancé Sergius. He said that he is a foolish man who led a foolish attack and merely by chance he has won the war. So if this is the case, she cannot keep him with her in a room now, so he has to leave. She goes to tell her mother about him. By the time they come back, Catherine and Raina enlists Catherine's help. And when Raina and Catherine return, they allow the man to rest. They see, to their surprise, that man was fast asleep on a bed. I mean, he was tired. He hadn't slept for 48 hours. So it was very common. So they find him sleeping in the bed. He was slept. Catherine tries to wake him up to let him sleep, as he is a poor creature and haven't slept for a long. Here, first act ends. Move on, next slide. This is the end of the first act of the play. The first act of the play ends here. Okay. Now, in the second act, we have to move on to the next slide. In the second act of the play, the settings are the same, but not 1885. It is the spring of 1886, spring season of 1886. There may be Serbian soldiers here. Now, in the second act, the play begins with Luka and Nicola. These are the servants in the house. Remember, Luka and Nicola are the servants of Petkoff's family. Luka is engaged to the house's head male servant, Nicola. They have been engaged. They're not married, remember. They don't love each other. Even remember this, because you will learn this during the course of time. Luca is engaged to the house's male servant, Nicola. Luca tells Nicola that he'll never be more than a servant and that she has higher aspirations. Now, remember, while talking to each other, they say that I know certain secrets about the Petkoff family. That is what Luca says. Nicola says, yes, he too knows certain secrets about the family, but he'll not disclose them onto anybody. He'll not speak about them to anybody. He'll never try to blackmail his masters. The finest sentence that Luca speaks to Nicola when he says these words, because he says, you don't know how difficult it is for poor people like us to have our own business and things without their help. It is really difficult for us, he tells, but she says, you have a soul of a servant. Now understand, you can understand the difference between the characters of the servants, male servant and a female servant. Luca tells him that you have a soul of a servant. I mean, you are born to be a servant and you cannot aspire. While at the same time, she tells him that she is not born to be a servant forever. She has higher aspirations. She wants to go to Luca tells him many secrets of the Petkoff family. Okay. Nicola also said, but that wasn't possible. Further, he recalled that this is the first time where Major Petkoff is introduced. Major Petkoff, who's the head of the family, is reported to have from the war, with all the dignified dressings and everything with him, with all the codes of conduct they follow. He enters the house. Now, he reports to Catherine and Sergius. Now, Sergius also reports and that Sergius, who's fiancé to their daughter, he tells them that Sergius will never receive military function. See, in the first scene, we have seen that Sergius was in charge of the attack, which the Bulgarians had won. Then the soldier comes and he tells us that the soldier tells us that was a foolish attack by the person called Sergius. And now Petkoff, Mr. Petkoff tells, Raina's father tells Catherine, Raina's mother, that Sergius, who was in charge of the attack, will never receive a military promotion. He craves, he longs for, because he had no command of military strategy. He doesn't know what the military strategy is. This point proves that what soldier has spoken to Raina is true. In the earlier act is true, actually. Okay. Now enters the Sergius and is greeted warmly by all the family, because he is a war hero, and war heroes are warmly greeted with all the dignity of the families. They welcome him, especially Raina welcomes him very warmly, and as if he's her love and he's the only person she longs for in her life. In that fashion, she welcomes him. Now he tells Catherine, When he comes, he is a kind of, I may use these words for him, but right now I shouldn't use, but he is a kind of soldier of blood and flesh, flesh and bone, soldier of blood, we should call him. I mean, he has all the dignity, air of dignity. Everything he does is does in a dignified manner, not as a simple man. Because he has again won the war, so that pride is also there. But he also knows that he will not receive any promotion because that was a stupid act that he has performed. Sergius says that he has abandoned his commission in the army out of anger that he'll never move up in the ranks, and he'll never move up in the ranks. That is what we have been told by Petkoff also, and Sergius is telling the same thing. Now Sergius, now they speak to one another. Sergius and Petkoff speak about the story. Okay, the story is the same story. The fun is here. Sergius and Petkoff tell a story that they have heard about a Swiss soldier being hidden by two Bulgarian women during the soldiers' retreat. This is what we have to remember. What Sergius and Petkoff tell a story which they have heard. What is the story? A Swiss soldier was hidden by two Bulgarian women. See, now this actually is a story that took place in the house of Petkoff only. And two women he is referring to is Raina and Catherine. But they don't know about this. I mean, Sergius and Petkoff, they don't know about this. However, Catherine and Raina know that this was the soldier they are talking about. Now, Catherine and Raina realize that story is about them, but they do not say anything about it. They do not want to say anything about it. They do not want their truth to be revealed to these people. They do not want to be told to the people that they are the woman who has given refuge to an enemy soldier. Okay. Now, Sergius, see, there is a twist again. Next slide. There is a twist again in the play, because we've seen that Raina is infatuated and engaged to Sergius. She harbors all romantic feelings for Sergius. This is a different kind of romance. But then Sergius speaks to Loka. May I request you to move on to the next slide, please. Sergius speaks with Loka in private and begins flirting with her. Now, this is the funny thing. See, the pride at one point, all the romantics at one point, their love, romantic love, the feelings they have for one another is at one point. And on the other side, what we look is Sergius flirts with the servant Luca. He begins to flirt with her. Now, Luca tells Sergius that Raina might not remain faithful to you because he flirts with her. He tells her that Raina might not remain faithful to you because she knows that she has been with a soldier in the room. That is the reason. But Sergius is taken aback. I mean, Sergius is shocked to hear this. How is this possible? And even then, how can a servant speak like this? But they exit. They go away. The scene is the same. Now, a man called Bluntschli is announced. A man called Bluntschli is announced. He enters in. Okay. Now, Bluntschli is the same soldier that has taken refuge in the house of Petkoff's on the earlier night. And the story that these people are speaking about, Sergius and Petkoff are speaking about, is the story of Bluntschli, Raina, and Catherine. Okay. A man named Bluntschli enters the family garden, and Loka brings him to Catherine. He is brought to the Catherine. Now, Catherine understands that this is the same man who hid in their house in Raina's room that day, and it is the same story they are trying to speak about. He's the same man whom Raina helped escape. It is the same man. Now, Catherine is worried. What is she worried about? She is worried over the discussion that those people are talking about, and if her husband and her would-be son-in-law comes to know about the story, this will be a disaster. That is what she feels. Catherine worries that Sergius and Petkoff, who are conferring over military plans in the library, might encounter the soldier and realize that this might be the soldier who has come and taken refuge in their own house. Therefore, she tries to hide him. Okay, Sergius and Petkoff have no idea that story they have heard about the soldier being helped by two Bulgarian women is about the Petkoff family. They don't know about it. Bluntschli, why is Bluntschli there now? He has come to return Major Petkoff's coat because The day they were going away, the day he was going away, he was given a coat so that he can hide himself and run away. That coat was given by Raina to him, and he was here to give this coat back to them. Okay, it was lent to him. Raina is so happy to see him that she blurs out. Now see, Raina, who speaks of all the romantic feelings about Sergius, when he suddenly sees the soldier, she blurts out, the chocolate cream soldier. I mean, she's infatuated by the idea of the chocolate cream soldier. She doesn't have the idea what war is like. No woman has the idea what war is like. But just it was glorified by the people. They think that war is something that needs to be glorified and spoken about in dignified style and words. That is what they speak about the war. But actually, her actual free feelings come out when she spontaneously says that the chocolate cream soldier. That shows that she is infatuated by the chocolate cream soldier and his ideas, his pragmatism, his rationalism. It shows that when she walks into the room only to recover herself. Now, when she walks into the room, now she has her dignity. She cannot speak of some soldier like this. She realizes that she has committed a mistake, but she blames it down to Nicola, because she thinks that she might have committed a mistake, and Nicola might realize that, so she blames it on to Nicola. She doesn't want to admit that she is in love with this man, the chocolate cream soldier. Petkoff and Sergius, who have in fact already met Bluntschli during the war, they have met each other, asked Bluntschli to stay and pass the time, because now war is over. Now war is over. There is no war now. War is over. They are into the peace now, peace treaty. So they have no reason to be enemies to one another. They are home. Okay. Now they want to work out and have the help of this man to pass the time. See, Catherine wants him to go away, while Major Petkoff wants him to stay. Even Sergius wants him to stay and help him. Okay, Luca, now the story moves on. Luca tells Sergius that the man with whom Raina is in love is Bluntschli. Remember. Now Bluntschli comes to the surprise of Sergius. Sergius, who is the war hero and dignified person, who resembles all the dignity of war and everything, who speaks to Raina and everybody in the dignified style, actually is to, and see, on the other hand, who flirts with the servant, Luca. She tells him that the man with whom Raina is in love is not you actually, but Bluntschli. Bluntschli, the man who had just arrived. Sergius now is furious when he listens to this, that how is that possible that someone can be here and in my absence and my lady love would love him? How is that possible? Therefore, all of a sudden, with all the dignity, he challenges Bluntschli to a duel. Remember, now when he realizes that Raina loves Bluntschli, he challenges Bluntschli to a duel. Now, with this, you can understand how eager he is to fight. Now, look at this. One thing I'd like to make it clear that Bluntschli, if you look at the character of Bluntschli, Bluntschli is a professional soldier, and Sergius is no match for him. I mean, Sergius cannot do any harm to Bluntschli because Bluntschli is a professional soldier and he is not bent on killing the people. He doesn't fight for the honor. He just fights because it is his profession. Because he has chosen to be, he chose to be the soldier, and it is the duty of a soldier to fight and not to kill. That is what he feels. Okay, so it is his professional. He is a professional soldier. Sergius is no match for him. Now, a picture of herself that Raina placed in her father's cloak. Now, there is one more thing that we have to remember. When it is again revealed to us that when the soldier was going, they had given a coat to the soldier, and then Raina secretly placed her own picture into the pocket of the coat. A picture of herself that Raina placed in her father's cloak for Bluntschli to find is exposed, proving that Raina has not been entirely truthful to Sergius. Now, how they understand that Raina is in love with Bluntschli? Because when Bluntschli was going, Raina places a photograph, and she also writes on it. See, from Raina to her chocolate cream soldier. She writes on the image photograph of hers, which she keeps in the pocket of Bluntschli. Actually, Bluntschli has not seen it. Unfortunately, Bluntschli didn't bother to see what is there in the pocket. So when he comes back to return the coat, they realize that there is something in the pocket. She tells that, haven't you seen that? He says, no, I have not seen it. And it is now my father is going to take that coat. He'll realize. He says, oh, what is the problem? It's just your image. Then he says that there is something written on it. Oh my God. And then what was written on it? From Raina to her chocolate-framed soldier. That tells us that she is in love with Sergius, and sorry, she is in love with Bluntschli, and she is not at all faithful to Sergius. Now, finally, Raina admits that she had feelings for Bluntschli since they first met. Now, she has to tell us, because when everything is revealed to us and everything is revealed to all other characters, Raina admits that she had been in love with Bluntschli from the beginning, from the first time she met Major Petkoff. When he learns that, Major Petkoff learns this, he is aghast. I mean, he doesn't understand what to do. I mean, Raina, who's engaged to Sergius, who has been in love with Sergius, a kind of romantic love, they have the family status and everything. Now she tells that she had been in love with Bluntschli, is a shock to Major Petkoff. Now, when Bluntschli acknowledges that he has loved Raina, Sergius and Lauka reveals. Now, Bluntschli also says that I was infatuated by the lady because she had given me the chocolates and she had given me the shelter when I utterly needed it. Otherwise, I would have been dead man. Now, this is revealed onto them. Now, at the same time, Sergius also tells them that, oh, I love, see the fun of it. When Sergius realizes that Raina is actually infatuated by Bluntschli and she is actually in love with Bluntschli, what he tries to do is he tries to tell them that I am also in love with the woman called Luca. Actually, earlier when Luca asks him about his love, he says that you are a servant and you are no match for me. There are plenty of other things also. But now when he realizes that Raina has actually not been faithful to him, he says that I love Luca, but he is told that Luca is engaged to Nicola. See the fun and see what happens to Bluntschli's character. She is told that she is engaged to Nicola. Now, this was a shock. This was a shock to Sergius, but Nicola comes and tells that, no, it wasn't a kind of engagement. It was just to protect the lady. We said that we are engaged. Otherwise, there was no connection between us. She never loved me. I never loved her. It was just a kind of protection protocol, he says, and therefore everybody is happy. For there is nothing between Nicola and Luca. So way for the love of Sergius and Luca is clear now. They can go ahead. Now, Bluntschli is told. Now, this is a shock to Petkoff. Can you understand? This is a shock to Petkoff because they have been the richest, almost richest family in Bulgaria. Their position, military position, is too high to be considered by some other people. They have plenty of horses and carriages and everything. I mean, they are considered very rich. Now, when they realize that, when Major Petkoff and Catherine realize that Raina is in love with Bluntschli, a simple soldier from Switzerland, they feel that he has nothing, and this is a shock. Now, they actually wanted a daughter to be married to Sergius because he had a military position and he was in charge of the attack of the military, so that would have given them honor. Now, honor should either added either by marrying their daughter to some army man or by marrying her to some rich person. Now, there is nothing in it. So, how was that possible? They were a little bit worried about this. Okay. But now what happens? Bluntschli is told that his father he gets a telegram telling him that his father has just died and has come into a great deal of money. I mean, everything is left behind. His father is his now. So he is told that Raina's parents are glad now. Well, they ask how many properties. I mean, he is an extremely rich man. He's so rich that at one point, Major Petkoff says that, are you emperor of Switzerland? He has plenty of things. I mean, instead of 20 horses, he has 200 horses. Instead of 7 carriages, he has 70 carriages, and a lot many things are there. So Catherine and Petkoff are happy to get them married to Bluntschli now when they realize that he is a rich man, when they understand, when they come to know that he is a rich man. So they're there to marry him. Raina tells them, I think Raina tells them, now Bluntschli is actually very angry. Sergius is actually very angry when Bluntschli tells that, see, I am no match for this lady, right? When they say that, oh, we are okay with it. Sergius also says that it's okay if Raina and Bluntschli get married. Then Bluntschli himself says that, see, I am no match for the lady. She is most generous, most beautiful, and everything is there with her. She is most kind-hearted lady, and you see, she is the girl of 17. I am no match for her. He says that I'm no match for her. How is that possible? And then Raina says that you bloody fool, you have spoken everything true about a lady except that she is 20. How dare you say a woman of 23, a girl of 17? Now this is dawned upon Bluntschli that she is not 17, she is 23, and he can marry her. And then he says that, okay, I'll marry Raina. When Raina is revealed to be 23 rather than 17, enabling Bluntschli in his good conscience to ask for her hand in marriage. Then he asks Mr. Petkoff for her hand in marriage. Bluntschli promises to hire Nicola. He further says that I'll hire Nicola as my manager for some other hotels. I have many hotels in Switzerland, so I'll take him. Sergius now accepts Luca as his lover happily. Luca is satisfied because her social rank is going to improve with this. Now Sergius, Bluntschli tells that I have some important engagement in the afternoon. By the time I come back, you please don't get married. By the time I come back, I want to attend your marriage. And the play ends when Sergius says that, what a man. Sergius says that, what a man. So this is how the general story of the play is. I hope I have made the story clear. I am also having an eye at the watch. Okay, so this is how the general story is all about. Now, what we have to understand through this story is what actually Shaw is trying to tell you. See, this is a comedy. Okay, they call it a comedy. No, let me tell you, no Shaw's play is a comedy. Shaw doesn't write comedies. Shaw doesn't write tragedies. All his tragedies are intermingled with comedies, and all his comedies are not without the element of seriousness in it. Therefore, there is a special category for Shaw's plays. They are called problem plays. We call them problem plays. They are also problem plays. They are also called play of ideas. Shaw's plays are plays of ideas. And Shaw is a different man. See, he deals with certain kind of themes of disillusionment. Disillusionment is one of the most important character of Shaw's plays. If you look at this play speaks about the disillusionment with war. The popular feeling of Shaw's times was that people felt that it was a common practice to involve in wars and glorify war. Now, if you look at this particular title of the play, the title is Arms and the Man. The title of the play is Arms and the Man. The title is actually a direct quote taken from Virgil's Aeneid. Now, when I'm speaking about Aeneid, Aeneid is a Latin epic you must be knowing about. It is about Aeneas, the war hero of Troy. And Virgil actually continued on the ideas of Homer. Homer has written Iliad and Odyssey. And this is the next one in connection with the same, when after the fall of Troy, the journey of Aeneid and everything that has been spoken here. So Aeneid is one of the most popular epics, and it is a kind of glorification of the war. Okay, now this glorification, this quote is actually picked up from Aeneid, and tried that spokesperson of Shaw is Bluntschli, who's a pragmatic rationalist, and all other characters are set against his character, but he actually tries to tell the truth of it. Now, when Bluntschli tries to tell the truth of what all other characters, we have to remember that all other characters gradually realize that what this pragmatic man is speaking is true. Therefore, he by the final act, a very cowardly soldier, which we see in the darkness, a chocolate cream soldier who even don't carry cartridges in his pocket, is revealed to be a real hero. That is the speciality of George Bernard Shaw's writings. In all his plays, you will see that a poorest of the characters rises to be the most important character in his plays. If we look back to Man and Superman, his Superman is a kind of character who doesn't care for social traditions and customs, but finally he is revealed to be a Superman. There is what is he is revealed, because Superman is not someone who flies in the sky. No, Superman is someone who is super by thought. What I have to say about George Bernard Shaw is he is an evolutionist. Remember, I think that is great impact of Darwin's theory of evolution on his writings, but it is a different kind of evolution that we'll talk about later on. So what we see is this is the disillusionment of the war. Sergius, initial hero, turns out to be a fool in the later stages. I mean, initially what we have talked about and what were given ideas about Sergius actually now turns out to be a fool by the end of all the act. I mean, by the end of the first act itself, we come to know that it was a foolish act. And finally, he is revealed to be nothing more than a fool. That is one thing. Sergius, what does he do? Romanticizes war to such an extent. See, he even defies the orders of his commanders and leads the attack against their orders. Now, this is called foolhardiness. So he romanticizes war to such an extent that he leads a foolish charge against the enemy, which is not at all necessary. Okay, for sure, war is simply a way of men to occupy themselves. See, it is nothing. Don't say that it is a glorified thing and take swords and guns and kill each other. It is not like that. It is such kind of profession where people occupy themselves. And on the domestic front, women shape many more aspects of life. That is what Shaw's plays are all about. They speak about. Now, if you look at the characters of Catherine and Raina, they add to the argument that war and its divisiveness can be meaningless. That is what we have to understand. This is one thing. Okay, another theme in Shaw's play, this particular play, in most of the plays, there is the same, these themes are always there because Shaw writes with a purpose. It's not that he writes his plays just because he wants to write to entertain people. No, it has specific purpose. In all his plays, we find there is a specific purpose in it. The complexity of romantic love. Now, complexity in the sense romantic love cannot be seen as it is seen by the people. That we understand. Initially, the romance between these two main characters, Sergius and Raina, though they are engaged to each other, but they are, romantically in love with each other. This romanticism is based on the idea that they have their ranks. Finally, they come to realize, Raina herself come to realize that she has been fooling herself and she has been fooling others also right from the beginning. Actually, she is not in love with the romantic war hero, but she is in love with the chocolate cream hero, chocolate cream soldier, who's actually not a soldier, right? So this is one thing. Now, social convention of love during Shaw's period, if you look at them, they are like formal courting, parental approval, and social status. Three things were commonly there. It is common in all the plays, even in Victorian plays also, you can see that. What? Public courting, whether public or private, courting was there. Then family approval was needed, that was also there. And social status and wealth of the partner was also important. Now, slowly, in this play also, we slowly realize that this is far more complex. Raina loved Sergius, he was lauded as the hero, and Catherine and Petkoff supported the union to maintain the family's social status. As another reason. Luca fought, though engaged to Nicola, but was never in love with him. She is willing to work hard to marry into a higher rank, and she does so. She marries into a higher rank by marrying Sergius. Luca's illicit relationship with Sergius defies social norms of courtship. The first thing, Bluntschli is introduced to Raina. Bluntschli's introduction to Raina is also unconventional, that we have to see. Okay, then there is another theme that we need to speak about is the arbitrary nature of social status. What is social status? It's not, conferred upon someone. It is arbitrary. The social station of the characters in the play is one of the dynamics that become most pronounced at the end, you see. Everything is reversed. The reversal is one of the characteristics of Shaw's plays. I'll speak about that later on. Luca wants to be more than a servant, whereas Nicola seems content to remain the servant. But therefore, she says that you have a soul of the servant. Bluntschli appears to be middle class, but reveals later that he is far, far wealthier than the noble Petkoffs. Petkoff and Catherine wants Raina to reinforce the family's position by marrying the bravest man in Bulgaria. Who's the bravest man in Bulgaria? It is Sergius, or by adding greatly to the family's wealth by marrying Bluntschli. Either you marry Bluntschli or marry Sergius, because one is rich and one is to the higher rank. 19th century marriage narrative, we look at. Narrative comprises of romantic love as the part of marriage calculation. And marriage calculation was based on the romantic love. The romantic, this is a hypocrisy. It has been spoken about by most of the people that this is a hypocrisy. How hypocritic these people are. But anyways, that we have to understand. But characters want to unite noble families and improve financial situations. Everywhere it was seen. Now we'll be talking about key concepts. Yeah. Ill-timed entry, you can see ill-timed entry, romantic affairs, the soul of the servant, Petkoff's court, chocolate creams, the library are some of the important key concepts used in the play. We have to understand that. However, major conflict in the play is Catherine and Raina worry that Sergius and Petkoff will realize that the hardboard Bluntschli is in their home in a secret during the war. What is the rising action of the play? Bluntschli arrives to return Petkoff's court. What is climax of the play? Bluntschli and Raina and Loka and Sergius admit their love affair. And what is the falling action? Bluntschli makes a formal offer to marriage to Raina, who accepts, and Sergius offers marriage to Luca. That is the final solution of the play. Okay, I hope I have spoken enough about this play. I'd like to take a few minutes, maybe 5 more minutes, because I know I'm running out of time. So I'd like to speak about what A.C. Ward has to say about Shaw, which is I have written in the next slide. This is particularly done because you might read them. My words may not be intelligible most of the times. That is the possibility. Okay, so Shaw stood second next to the Shakespeare. According to Shaw, political leaders were blunderers, insufficiently educated in the art of ruling. You can see that. Fittest are those who survive by the superior intelligence and by exercising willpower. This is the third one that I am reading here. Fittest are those who survive by superior intelligence and by exercising willpower. Here we have to wait for some time. Why does he try to say so? Fittest are those. I mean, survival of the fittest actually is the concept of Darwin. This is Darwin's concept, but Shaw slightly alters this concept and tries to say that you have to survive by your intelligence, superior intelligence. You have to show that you are superior. Now, there is no more evolution possible. I mean, physical evolution is not possible, but mental evolution is possible. That is what he tries to say. Okay. Further, he believes that war is an evil, so are the social norms. That can be seen through other plays also. His tragedies are not wholly tragic, not comedic. Temporary injustice or passing follies of his own generations become universal with the time. This is A.C. Ward's criticism, not mine. His plays do not depend on scenery and costumes because they are universal. Even if you change the characters, even if you change the scenes, even it is not Serbia and Bulgaria, if it is between some other countries, it would be the same kind of situation created. That's why it becomes universal. Okay. Bluntschli as spokesperson of Shaw. How? I think Bluntschli is the spokesperson of, this was, the earlier slide was criticism by A.C. Ward. I have selected some of those points. Okay, Bluntschli as the spokesperson of Shaw. It is coward's art, these are the lines from the play itself. It is coward's art of attacking mercilessly when you're strong and keeping out of harm's when you're weak. See, this is the idea that he tries to propagate. Bluntschli says that it is coward's art of attacking mercilessly when you're strong. When you're strong, you're attacking others, and you're keeping out of harm's when you're weak. This is coward's art. This is not the brave man's art. Next, he says, when you strike that noble attitude and speak in that thrilling voice, I admire you. Both the dialogues he says to Raina. What does he say to Raina? When you strike that noble attitude, Raina speaks in a noble style because she is born into an aristocratic family, a daughter to a major. See, so he says that when you strike that noble attitude and speak in that thrilling voice, the voice he uses is thrilling voice, I admire you. I mean, I love you like that, like anything when you speak in that voice, but I find it impossible to believe a word you say. I mean, he tries to expose her to her hypocritical nature, that there is a great difference between her actions and her words. What she says is not true. What she pretends is not true. She is not what she is actually trying to show. Okay. Now, while understanding Shaw, we have to understand, these are some of the points that I feel in relation to Shaw's plays. While understanding Shaw, we have to understand there are reversals in Shaw's plays. Everywhere, if you look at the plays of Shaw. Sorry. Hello. Hello, am I audible? Sir? Hello? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
am I audible? Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'll be finishing in next 5 minutes. Okay. Reversals are common in Shaw's plays. Reversals can be seen within the plays as well as outside the plays. I'll speak of reversals. If you have heard about Shaw's play Candida, in Candida, Shaw, what actually we can see is there is reversals and reversals and reversals. If you look at Tom Taylor's Still Waters Run Deep, okay, and then if you look at Henrik Ibsen's Doll's House, these are reversals to one another. Still Water Runs Deep is reversed in Ibsen's Doll's House. But if you look at in Doll's House, what it tries to say is, though you see, if this is an aristocratic family where women are shown in the house, in charge of the house, but what Henrik Ibsen tries to say is they are in charge of the house, but they are not free. This looks to be a beautiful house, but they are actually captured inside the house. Okay, they are not given rights of the women. So they become dolls in the house, a beautiful cage, and they are birds in the beautiful cage. That is what he is trying to put together before us. Now, this was spoken earlier in Still Water Runs Deep. It was spoken by there are some serious characters who are not loved by their own women. This was reversed in the second act. Okay, Ibsen. Now, what George Bernard Shaw tries to show in his Candida is it is not the reversal. No, it is not like that. See, in the household affairs, it is not the man who is responsible for everything. It is actually the woman who is responsible for everything. Shaw's philosophy about woman is different. I might have written it somewhere in the next. Okay, he actually tries to his plays actually are reactions to certain social norms. If you look at this, I mean, they are explosive in nature because they expose the social hypocrisies, they expose the characters, but they do not ridicule them. See, they do not ridicule them. They run with such a smooth speed that by the end of it we understand that, yeah, this is the idea. Oh yeah, this has been the idea that Shaw is actually trying to propagate. Okay, and he tries to take us to the higher levels. Now, if you look at his Superman, he actually is defying all the social norms. I mean, no social norm is followed by him. But finally, if you look at even the Man and Superman or anything, in all the Shaw's plays, there is a Superman, there is a man with arms, there is someone revered like James Morrill, or there is some very great poet like Eugene Marchbanks, or there is some great fanatician like Professor Higgins. But finally, it is winner is not the male character. Remember, finally, if you look at Shaw's plays, the winning game is always on the side of women. Look at Candida, look at Anna, look at Eliza, look at Raina, look at Catherine. They do what they want. Even Luca. You look at all these characters, though their heroes may speak of great ideals, but actually the victory goes to women in Shaw's plays. That we have to understand. Therefore, I always say that Shaw believes that women are far superior than man. Man is no match to a woman. Man has to serve a woman. That is what Shaw believes in most of his plays. There are plenty of reversals, cannot be spoken in one class. I know that. Okay, there are a few more examples which you can read. Candida, I feel, is one of the wonderful plays. Man and Superman is there. Pygmalion, if you are really interested in language and aspects of language, I think you should first of all go for Pygmalion. It's one of the wonderful plays. I am grateful to Dr. Nagarajan sir for giving me an opportunity to speak here. It was a nice experience talking to you people. I think I should stop here. Thank you, sir.
Really, it's a nice thing that Professor Dr. Lechman spoke to us about more than 1 hour. Really, I hope students might have got benefited. And the moment I asked Professor, he immediately he agreed, and he's on the Zoom platform. I haven't given him sufficient time. I feel guilty, but still he could gather materials and prepare beautiful slides. And now he has taken 1 hour of flow. Really, I enjoyed. I always have got a kind of admiration for Professor Lakshman. Today he has done a wonderful job, and our students also enjoyed it. And many of them they wanted the slides. The slides are with me. Maybe this afternoon I will mail or I will send it by WhatsApp to you, my students. You can make use. And personally, I personally, and also on behalf of the students and staff members of our department, Department of English, Adapa Government Arts College, we extend, or no, I thank profusely Professor Dr. Lakshman
Thank you, sir.
for his very, I will say that, it's like torrential rain. Request Professor, maybe after a week, Professor Lakshman will speak on another writer. I think I have already requested him. Maybe for 1 hour he will prepare the lecture and he will talk to him maybe next week or so. So that request also I make with Professor Dr. Lakshman. I hope he will take it up and he will do it. So
Yes.
once again, I thank Professor for the
Thank you, sir.
gesture, and also thank all the students, And now I think it is time for you to go to next class. You can just move. I'll just put off the recording and other things. You please you can move to the your next class. Thank you very much. Thanks one and all. Thank you, sir.